everybody, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I'm going to be cutting something just a little bit different. In Spain we get stuff which is called privacy film, and it is used to go over windows quite frequently in areas where you could otherwise have people looking in and you don't want it. In some cases it's used just to block out a little bit of the sun, because we do get very strong sun over here. And you can get privacy film in all sorts of different patterns. You can get it by the meter, and it's usually pretty wide. It's also extremely cheap. Certainly it is here. Now the thing is with privacy film is it comes with a backing to it, and you should remove the backing. Now it looks when you buy it as if, okay, that's exactly how it's used, but take it from me, there is a backing on here and you really have to work to find it. But once you do, you can just strip that away. And this is the side that would normally go against a window, just with some soapy water, squidgy it on, and hey presto, your privacy film is up. But I've got some pieces left over from some that I cut for a friend for her windows, and I'm going to be using it for a slightly different reason, because I think this would make great decals for things like planners and pencil cases and things like that. Anything that you want to put a nice little sticker on. And this is actually going to make a very nice sticker. So what I've done is I've put some double-sided sticky tape on the back of here. I haven't taken the film off of this particular piece. I'm going to scan this in with my scan and cut and make a cut line. Now I just tried to cut this out and it didn't stay in place, so I stopped the cut very fast, and I'm just going to tape it down with some masking tape, and that's not going to go anywhere now. I did get a little bit there where I have no double-sided tape underneath. I knew it was going to end up with a little bit that didn't have any tape on it, but yeah, I'm not worried. If I was that bothered, I'd have put down more tape, but I didn't. So now I have a decal that has double-sided tape on the back of it, and it still has its covering on the top. So I'm going to remove that top covering. Right, the moral of the tale is take the covering off before you cut it, because I can't find the edges any longer. I did it, I managed to get it off once it was stuck down on here. Another idea I have that could save you some money is this kind of thing. If you want to make a cover for your cutting machine, or maybe bags for accessories, or things like pencil cases even, this stuff is really good. And it is actually designed to be tablecloth material. In Spain we have a lot of al fresco dining, and every hardware shop around sells this. It has a fabric backing and a plastic top, so it's designed to be washable, to be wiped down, or you can even put it in the washing machine. I've done that before now. And it's very, very cheap to buy and very useful for that. But if you look at this, you've even got designs here. If you wanted to, you could do a scan and cut on these sorts of things as well. Another source of cheap decals is actually cheap and cheerful shower curtains. If you're looking for things to make decorative bows and so on for your craft projects, have a look in the wool department of various stores, because quite often you'll find they have some really pretty ones like this. I mean, I don't knit, but this is very, very pretty. Its variation in colour is really nice, and will make very nice little decorative bows and threads to wrap around card bits. And it's usually a lot cheaper than something which is dedicated in the craft aisle. When it comes to cutting things that you want to cut but maybe you don't have, look to things which are not quite what you think they are. This here is a roll of tape which I got from the DIY section of a shop. I have no idea what it's used for, but it's definitely not craft tape. Now I used a half cut on this, and that looks like it has worked really, really well, so I'm quite happy. to remove this from the mat. Yep, definitely half cut. So I should be able to weed that in the same way that I could weed a vinyl. It cut really well. I didn't have a problem cutting it at all. It appears to weed really nicely. And all I have to do is transfer it in the same way that I would normally once I've got this off. It's also very sticky, so there's not much chance of that coming off accidentally. The other thing is using something like this, if you wanted to, for example, put it on something like a mug. Now, I doubt very much whether it would go through the dishwasher, although heaven knows it might. But if you just wanted to do something for a temporary thing, like you wanted something for a 60th birthday, for example, that you knew someone wasn't going to want that design on the mug forevermore, you could put it on for the birthday and have a really nice, really wonderfully shiny decoration for the mug, and say, well, you can get it off afterwards if you want to, and you'll still have a nice mug. I think that is really. So I've got some contact paper, and I'm just going to put this over here. It's very small, so I'll rub it down my nail. My nails are good and tough, they can take it. There we are. And when I say contact paper, this is the stuff that you use to cover textbooks and things like that. And just eyeball it. And you can reuse this stuff as well. This is a temporary book covering, and it's brilliant for transferring vinyls. There we are. Stick that on there for the moment. And I'm actually going to see if that'll go through the dishwasher, because I have a sneaking feeling it might. This time I've put some double-sided sticky tape on the back of a piece of poly cotton, because I think it would be quite nice to be able to add little borders perhaps of fabric onto cards. It cut it out perfectly. That was just with the normal auto blade. I didn't bother swapping to the fabric blade. I haven't even used that yet. I've cut this nice little snowflake, or big snowflake I should say, from some self-adhesive foam. So I'm going to remove the backing, and what I'm going to do is to randomly place these on, press down well, and rip off. The other thing you could do if you don't have anything like this is use your foam as a base for putting a sparkly vinyl on. On this piece of card I have a design, it's actually an anchor, it's just one of the designs on the Scan and Cut. And what I've done with this is I put a Sakura Quickie glue pen in a pen holder, and I've used that in order to draw my anchor. Now the difference is that I put a fill pattern on it as well, and this is under the image editing screen. You'll find that there is a section there where you can choose a line fill. There's a few different patterns in there, not many, but a few. And then there's a straightforward, complete blanket fill with no gaps in it at all. This one I've done in kind of like a crosshatch pattern. It's probably covered most of it anyway, because I set my line distance only to 1mm. Because the Quickie glue pen has a very small point and doesn't put out that much glue in one go, so I figured the lines needed to be quite close together. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a little while, because I've learnt my lesson. It's much better to go off, have a cup of tea, come back later, rather than try and put some foil on it and find the glue isn't quite as dry as you thought it was and end up with smudges everywhere. This foil isn't an expensive one.